I never thought in my life I would say this about Sega, but F Sega. F Sega right in the air, or at least F its president. Just F him. Just F him right in the A. I'm dead serious. F him right in the A. Oh my god, I never thought I would see the day that Sega would do crap like this, but I guess it was only a matter of time. And I feel like they're just getting too big for their britches. Well, the president is anyhow. I think he's trying too hard and he's letting things go to his head maybe. I don't really know I don't really know what the issue is. I don't exactly know what's going on that made him think this was a good idea, but the Sega president says that he wants the company or the company is considering game subscription services. And that's what I say about that. That's exactly what I say about that. Woo, that was a nasty one. Okay. But Sega president is it Shuji or Suji? Utsumi. Shuji Utsumi. I hope I'm not saying that wrong. Has informed the BBC that it is looking into developing a game subscription service similar to Xbox Game Pass and Ubisoft Plus, etc. The move would allow gamers to pay a monthly subscription fee to access a library of Sega games on their consoles. Um, are they saying on their when they say their consoles? Do they mean the consumers' consoles, or do they mean consoles that Sega plans to release? Is Sega going to work on a new console? Is that what's going on here? That doesn't sound right. I don't like this. I don't like this. This isn't something that I ever thought Sega themselves was going to do. And now that it looks like they're actually going to do something like this, I'm pretty irked. I'm going to be real with you. I'm pretty irked. But yeah, Sega's president Shuji Utsumi told the BBC such subscription products were, quote, very interesting, and his firm was evaluating some opportunities. We're thinking something and discussing something we cannot disclose right now. I I can't even. Apparently, this is on the BBC. So let's go back to the BBC. See what else is going on. Sega is considering launching its own Netflix-like subscription service for video games, a move which would accelerate gaming's transition towards streaming. There are already a number of similar services on the market, such as Xbox Game Pass and PlayStation Plus, which see gamers pay a monthly fee for access to a range of titles rather than owning them outright, which I don't fucking like that. I don't like, and I don't like paying a monthly. Okay, look, if it's just a monthly fee, okay, fine. If it's just a monthly fee, but if it's a monthly fee plus a fee per game, fuck right the fuck up. That's where everybody fails. But I feel like that's why they're removing things right now. That's why they're removing all their games. But here's another problem with all this. Where your talent? You don't have Sega like Sega of the past. When I was younger, the Sega I grew up with, the mass that made all their consoles all the way up to like the Sega Saturn, maybe even the Dreamcast, I guess you'd say. But the Sega that was at right up there at the top during the 16-bit era is gone. That is not the same company we're talking about here. They own all the IPs, but for fuck's sakes, I'm not happy about this. I don't think anybody should be happy about this. I think this is terrible. I think this is the worst thing. I think this is the worst of the worst, the lowest of the low, to quote Boogie 2988. Um this is just I don't know. I kept wanting Sega to come back, but not with a streaming service, but with a new console. I mean, it does kind of sound like they're working on consoles too, I guess. I don't know what's happening. I don't know if they're talking about consoles they're working on or consoles. See, I don't know. I don't know. Here's the thing. It's going to fail. I already know it's going to fail. Whatever they're doing, if all it is a bunch of legacy stuff and they're not making anything new and they don't have the studios working on anything. I mean, they have Atlas for fuck's sakes. And Atlas is like an RPG company of sorts, right? They mostly make RPGs. Why the fuck have they not made a new Fantasy Star, a reboot of the Fantasy Star series? And I want classic Fantasy Star back. I'm not talking about modern day fucking Fantasy Star Online. I want classic Phantasy Star with turn-based battle systems. I want that back. But they're not working on anything like that. They don't really have developers. I mean, there are a lot of indie developers I think would love to work on their IPs, but if they're just going to throw it all on an online service, I don't know. I I I don't know. Here's my thing: is it streaming? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Is it streaming games or is it downloading them? If you're downloading the game to play with an online service, that's a little different because if they shut down the service, you can hold on to the games and somehow play them later. But if it's just streaming, Sega, no, this is the wrong way to go. You're not doing right. You're failing. You're failing. You're failing, Sega. But let's be real, Sega has been failing constantly. They don't know what they're doing. I mean, they take an inch, they go a mile in the wrong direction, you know? Let's look at what happened with one of the best games they ever released, Sonic Mania. And they didn't follow it up with a Sonic Mania 2 like they fucking should have. Instead, they followed it up with Sonic Superstars, a game that was a clusterfuck of a mess. Because it was, from what I could tell, even just playing it, is it wasn't made by a passionate group like Mania was. Mania was clearly made with love and a reverence for the source material and everything. They made something good, like good. All right, but Sonic Superstars didn't feel the same way. It just felt like they were just, I don't know, and they went with all the 3D and whatnot. I just, nah, dude, that was wrong. That was wrong on Sega's part. Sega is a shell of their former self, and they always take the wrong direction. And like right now, they got a president that's going around. Let's see. Yeah, he goes. Sega's president Shuji Utsumi told the BBC such subscription products were very interesting, quote unquote, and his firm was evaluating some opportunities. We're thinking something and discussing something we cannot disclose right now, he said. Some in the industry have expressed concern about the move, however, telling the BBC it could see gamers shelling out more money on multiple subscription services. It is not just Sony and Microsoft who offer game subscriptions. There are now countless players in the space with rivals such as Nintendo. See, but they're not streaming. Nintendo isn't streaming in this space. Let's be real. Nintendo is not streaming games. You're downloading. You're paying a monthly fee, but you're downloading, and it's a bunch of old legacy content. You cannot run something like this on nostalgia alone. You can't fucking do it. You can't do it. It's not going to work. It's not going to work out. You have to have some new shit. And again, there's indie developers, but I would prefer them to just make physical media. Keep going with that, or just download. Let me pay for the software. I'd rather pay for the software than to pay for an online service. I honestly, all I'm getting right now is Nintendo Switch Online, and even that I'm just like, I'm kind of meh about it. I don't have anybody to play anything online on the Switch Online service. I don't. I need to get a capture card, that way I can sit in here and play Switch, online. Actually, I do need to get a capture card, but once my brother gets moved out, I've been thinking about the direction I want to go in, especially like physically here in my home. I'm probably going to move everything to the living room off the TV in there, get a tripod for a camera and everything, and just sit there and stream from my recliner. That recliner hurts my back a lot less than this damn office chair. This office chair is killing me. Fucking killing me. And I mean absolutely killing me. But that's neither here nor there. But this is not a good idea. And it's like they say right here in the article, when you have all these different companies vying for your dollar on an online service, I don't know. Does anybody remember Sega Channel? Anybody remember Sega Channel? So Sega Channel was through the cable company, hooked this little device that went on your Genesis cartridge slot with a cable cord, literally going in and out, and you would play Sega games that were pushed and rotated out regularly on the console, which I don't know. I don't know. I guess it could be cool if it's not too expensive, but this is Sega. It sounds like the kind of thing they're going to try and make. It's going to be expensive. It's going to be like $60. I don't know, a month. I don't know, maybe a year, maybe just a year. I don't know. Currently, various Sega games are available across multiple. No, they're not. They're actually not. They're okay. Well, streaming maybe. I haven't checked streaming, but like they're removing their games. Now we're getting an idea. We're getting an idea now as to why they are removing all those games from Steam and whatnot. Now we have an idea as to why. And it's just sad, man. It's just fucking sad. Oh my god, it's so sad. Uh let's see. So it would make financial sense for Sega for people who are playing its titles to pay it subscription fees rather than its rivals. It would also be attractive for people who mostly want to play Sega games, but for everyone else, it could result in higher costs. Rachel Howie streams herself playing games on Twitch, which she is known as Don't Rage Quit. I fucking don't know, to her fans, and said she was excited and worried. Another subscription service. Quote, we have so many subscriptions already that we find it very difficult to justify signing up for a new one, she told the BBC. I think that Sega will definitely have a core dedicated audience that will benefit from this, but will the average gamer choose this over something like Game Pass? Probably not. See, this is only going to appeal to diehard Sega fans, and there's not a whole lot of us, to be honest. And even then, how many are actually going to pay for this? Like, really? Like, I have pretty much every game Sega's ever made, pretty much on my computer. Every Master System, every game from a console. I can't remember what that console was called, but it was the one that predates the Master System. I have all the ROMs for that. I have all the ROMs for the Sega Genesis 32X. I've got a bunch of Sega CD games. I've got all of that on my fucking hard drive, and I emulate them to perfection. In fact, just recently, I did a test to see how Saturn would run for me, because Saturn was very hit or miss on my last rig. On my current rig, Saturn runs like a fucking dream. I wanted to do that test in a video or a stream, actually. I started to do a stream on it. Nobody wanted to come to the stream, so I said, fuck it. I just did it off stream. I just, what are you people doing? Nobody shows up. I'm late at night. It's late at night. I can't be on in the day. My sleep schedule's all screwed up because of real life, because of my life, which sucks. That's why do I keep going off on tangents? Look, the main thing here is that I don't need to pay a monthly subscription service to play old Sega games. They would need some new shit. I and they have all these IPs. Maybe this is part of what they're trying to do. I think Sega wants to get back into something. Like they want to be noticed again. They want to have, everybody wants a new Sega console. I see it all the time. Dreamcast 2, which, let's be real, if Sega ever made a new console, it would not be called a fucking Dreamcast 2. Everybody who keeps screaming Dreamcast 2 is a fucking idiot. It wouldn't be called that. Sega never in their life called a console a something 2, or they wouldn't use the name over again. So, like, going all the way back, they eventually, we had the Mach whatever, then we had the Master System, the Genesis, which was called the Mega Drive. We had the 32X add-on, Sega CD, Mega CD if you're in other countries. Then we went to the Sega Saturn, and then we went to the Sega Dreamcast. They would come up with a completely new name if they made a console. They wouldn't call it a Dreamcast 2. All right, that's your fucking nostalgia fucking talking, because you can't think any sense. I hate retro channels so fucking much, because of how they sit there and they just don't use their brain cells. I fucking hate them. I hate Sega Lord X. I hate all of them. They are so fucking obnoxious, so fucking ignorant, and they don't think clearly. They don't think business wise. They just think with nostalgia, tinted glasses, and whatnot. I fucking hate them all. They're all fucking obnoxious. I don't care. I don't care who knows. I have a drink right here in front of me that I'm drinking. Um, I think that Sega will definitely have a core dedicated audience that will benefit from this, but will the average gamer? They won't. They won't. Uh, and Sophia Smart, Sophie Smart. What the fuck? Anyhow, production director at UK developer No More Robots agreed. Quote, as someone whose first console was the Sega Mega Drive, which in the US it's called the Genesis. Do you know why it was called the Genesis? I'm going to go off on a short tangent. Not that I haven't already done that already. It was called the Genesis because Genesis is beginning. Sega of America wanted the Genesis to be a new beginning for the company. They thought it was a much better name, and it was. It was a great name. I don't think it would have done as well if they had called it a Mega Drive in the U.S. A Mega Drive sounds like a PC component, like a hard drive or some shit. It just doesn't sound like a console name. A Mega Drive sounds bad. Just a bad naming. I don't know. And I still joke to this day that if it had been called the Genesis everywhere, that people in the UK would shorten that to something cute like, you want to play some Jenny? Let's go play some Jenny. You say good Jenny. You know they would fucking shorten it to something like that. But yeah, I had a Genesis in my youth. I need to get another Genesis. They're all over the place. You can find one. I need to get one, but I just don't have much, if anything, to play on one of those things. But she wondered if Sega did create a rival subscription that if they did create a rival subscription service, if this would lead to their games being removed from other services. It's already being removed. Does nobody notice that they're removing shit from Steam and whatnot? They're removing all their games from Steam. Sega, fucking Sega Genesis games are all being removed. Dreamcast, all of it's being removed from Steam. Here's what I think they should do, and I think I would like it more, is if instead of an online monthly fee shit, if they just made their own Steam, Sega branded like Steam kind of thing where you paid per game. Not per month, but per game. I don't know. That's the way I see it. If so, it could mean that consumers are shelling out more money across owning multiple subscription services, she said. Bringing Sega back, Shuji Utsumi spoke to the BBC ahead of the premiere of the film Sonic 3 on Saturday, after a year in which he oversaw the launch of Metaphor Refantasio, I don't know what that is, Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth, and the latest Sonic the Hedgehog game. Um, our conversation started in an unexpected way. The very first thing Mr. Utsumi said to me seemed to suggest that the firm, which dominated gaming in the 90s with a rivalry between Sonic the Hedgehog and Nintendo's Super Mario, may have lost its way. Quote, I don't want to make Sega, or no, sorry, I read that wrong. I want to make Sega really shiny again, he said. He said Sega had been putting too much focus on domestic success in Japan and needed to reestablish itself on a global stage, which would mean expanding past its base. Sega has been somehow losing confidence, he said. But why? Sega has a great RPG group. Sega has amazing IP. I think he's talking about Atlas. Sega has amazing IPs. Sega is a really well known brand. So I was like, hey, now is not the time to be defensive, but more offensive. He said the company was too concerned about controlling costs when he took over, and he wants to, quote, bring a rock and roll mentality. I'm guessing he means not just to gaming in general, but to Sega as well. He said the company was too concerned about controlling costs. Okay, yeah, oh yeah, wait. When I told him that sounded familiar, Sega's marketing in the 90s often tried to position Sonic the Hedgehog as the cool alternative to Mario. He agreed. He said the firm now simply must make a great game. You need to make multiple great games. You can't just make one great game. You have to make multiple great games. in the series. Multiple great games. I guess he means Sonic. Make a great game in the series. The next one is going to be quite a challenge, quite exciting game that we are working on. He said, but he would not divulge whether Sega was considering a follow up to the much loved Sonic Adventure series. Sonic Adventure was a kind of a game changer for Sonic, he said. When we released it, it should be good. It should be impressive. We need to meet or even exceed people's expectations, so it takes some time. Part of the series, which fans have been clamoring to see return, is the KO Garden, a much loved virtual pets synonymous with this with Sonic Adventure. Said we've been talking about it, but would not go into further detail. Okay, Sega's future. This is a long ass article, man. Mr. Utsumi unsurprisingly talked up the firm's successes this year, which have included winning multiple gaming awards with new IP Metaphor Ripantazio, made by the team behind the Persona series. But it hasn't all been positive for the firm, with job cuts in March and Football Manager 2025 being delayed to next year. Quote, it was a hard decision, he said, of the cuts which saw 240 people lose their jobs. But when you reset the initiative, you have to make that hard decision. And he said Football Manager had been delayed over, quote, a quality issue. I mean, financially, maybe providing the game at an early stage can be the better choice. But we decided to keep having the quality level to keep that discipline. And he also spoke of how Sega's year has gone outside of gaming with several films, television adaptations being capped off with the third Sonic the Hedgehog movie released on Saturday. I just saw the movie. It's so much fun. It'd be nice if that kind of excitement goes on. So much that I read here for 22 fucking minutes. But it doesn't seem like a good idea. It just, to me, it doesn't seem like a great idea. An online service, unless it's something like Steam where you pay per game, I mean, maybe give people the choice. Do you want to pay per game or do you want to pay monthly? I think giving a choice, people are going to pay per game. They're not going to pay per monthly. And they're going to expect to hold on to that fucking game if something goes belly up with it. I don't know. I think he's getting too big for his britches. I think Sega's doing the wrong thing here. Look, I love Sega. I always have. I mean, I would say I'm more of a Sega fan than I am a Nintendo fan. And that's the truth. But I can't see this working out for them. I can't. But I get the feeling people in the comments section are going to tell me what they think about this. I think it's a bad idea, though. Okay, I've ranted enough. This has been the goof. I'm sorry. 23 fucking minutes. Have a good one. Jesus. Rate, comment, subscribe, damn it. I gotta get to that 1,000 subs, yo. Okay, I'm out.